Hello.
Hello. Is my mic on?
I think we're good to go.
Hello.
How was California today, Caitie?
Excellent. Are we ready to get started?
Yeah, I mean, we can introduce ourselves, I guess. Like, I'm Dalton.
I'm Cassie.
We own Peerless Watercolors, and the other third of the screen is the wonderful Caitie North, who is our resident artist and content creator.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm sure you know by now.
But yeah, so I'm in California, and they are all the way in Wisconsin. Is that right? Yeah, Wisconsin. So a lot of different time zones. So I'm kind of curious to see where everyone's from too. So all over the place, I'm sure. How do I get this to go away? I guess I don't really need to see that though. Anyway, we're going to be painting these Christmas ornaments. So they are dried oranges, and then I've got the star anise, and then holly, and then some super cute little cinnamon stick too. So I'm gonna do them bigger than what this is, so you can see like more detail as we go. But I did about 5 layers of paint, and the reason that I like to do 2 is because while one is dry, you can work on the other one. So if we were to sit here and do one ornament, we could be talking the whole time. That would be fine too. But
that's just classic. That is your signature move: 2 paintings at once.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's what we're gonna do. If you saw before we started, there was a list of the colors that we're using, and I like to put them on a extra piece of watercolor paper. Perfect. So you guys, already set. Just to keep your, so you're not flipping in the book, which the book is really good because it's convenient and you have all the colors there. but this is also a good way to do it too. So unfortunately, my screen is not big enough to show you the paint and the drawing paper that we're doing, but I'll try to kind of like maneuver both a little bit. But I don't think anything we're mixing too much. We're more doing like layers too. So
Yeah, and I feel like so long as you're saying like what color you're dipping into, I don't think it'll be an issue.
okay, cool. So basically, to get started, we're gonna sketch out some orange slices. You don't have to be good at drawing anything like that. It's really, we're gonna do 2 circles, and wherever you want them. And I used a compass, not a compass, but like a is that big enough? I feel like I might want it bigger.
I'm just going to use the bottom of my glass.
That works perfectly. I used this little template last time when I made it, but doesn't really matter.
Perfect.
You know, when the orange slices dry and in the oven, when you're making them in real life, they kind of get misshapen and whatever. Anyway,
so first of all, do we need to that close to each other? Or can we have them on 2 separate pages?
Oh, you can do it. You could definitely do it on 2 different pages.
And
oh wait,
secondly,
you know what?
Secondly, Cassie just spent the better part of 6 hours dehydrating orange peels.
Yeah.
First time.
Yeah. Oh no, they're actually really nice. I forgot about the holly, so I'm gonna actually add.
They make your house smell great.
They do. So you do want to make sure you leave enough room for the holly, which I forgot. And then the holly is just gonna be kind of like you can draw like an outline of a leaf and then add the points after it if you're not kind of comfortable just doing it right off the bat. But that kind of works too. And then you gotta add, oh shoot. See, this is the awkward part where I'm like trying to do it all at the same time and then I'm just like, it's just silly. I forgot about the cinnamon. Okay. Let's see. I'm probably like totally confusing all of you guys. I'm so sorry. Okay. We're going to do this guy and then we're going to do this guy and then the cinnamon. Now we should have everything in there.
So one orange is just an orange, and the other one is the cinnamon and holly leaves underneath it.
Mm-hmm. And so this orange too has the it has a little star anise in it, which it's kind of hard to see. We don't have to do that part too if it's a little bit. It does make it darker, but it has that little star anise, which makes it really flavorful and that smell of all like the holiday aromas. So, but one of them's like a blood orange, and then the other one's like a regular navel orange. Is that over there? Yeah. And so basically, to do that, so once you already have those circles and those like basic outlines, we need to add a little bit of kind of guidelines for the inside of like the pulp of the orange. And so you have your outer circle, and you're gonna do one inner circle, and that's gonna be.
So right after this, I still need some time to draw my holly.
Okay.
I'm still looking at that. You said you can like start with just the outline of like a leaf?
Yeah. So it's like you can do like an actual just leaf shape.
Mm-hmm.
And then you add the points after, and it's just kind of like a quick,
okay.
Kind of gives you that shape without having to do it with the points at the same time, and then you can erase the inside to kind of, and then you just do it kind of like another little one behind it. It's okay. Well, that'll give me a second because then I'll fix my drawings. I got excited and started talking way too fast and just drawing really fast. So I think.
I don't think I've ever seen holly in real life, and Cassie's witnessing me draw it right now.
Not in real life, really?
I don't think so.
That's so funny. I'm pretty sure we have it in Washington. I feel like I've got stuck with it, or maybe they just had it like when we were decorating like wreaths or something.
Like the national holiday flower of the Midwest is essentially a green bean casserole. So we don't have, yeah, we don't have too many actual botanicals out here.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I had no idea.
There's someone out there has got to be doing better than me right now. But
No, that's great. That's perfect.
Mine's way lighter.
Okay. So then, like I started to say, is that now that you have your outer edges of your orange slice, you want to make the inner circle of the orange slice, which is pretty much making the rind of the orange.
Fun fact,
then-
when I was a sous chef, for anyone who makes sangria, the rind is what makes it bitter if you leave it in too long.
Oh, so like as pretty as you think it would look, you don't actually want it to leave
No, you can
the.
make it a lot longer by just taking out the fruit pieces in between serving it.
That's interesting. That is what makes. I like that. That is actually really good to know. The rind makes bitter. I don't think I've ever made sangria. And then on the inside, it's gonna be kind of like a pizza. So you want to kind of cut it into pizza slices.
Like 8 slices?
Yep. You know, or something. It doesn't actually have to be 8. I guess there actually is 8 on both of those. And then once you have your pizza slices, you want to round out these little corners. So it's on the corners of each of these right here. And you're going to round them out a little bit just to remind yourself to leave the line that goes down, because that's what gives it the I do this one real fast. Do you see how all of the lighter areas of those, what gives it the compartments almost of the orange?
Mm-hmm.
So you're trying to make those lines. So even though they're aligned here, you want to give it a little bit on either side. So you're rounding out those and then going down on either side of the orange, on that like your pizza line. So when it gets closer, is that blurry? There you go. So you can kind of see that line is open, and that's what's gonna stay like a lighter color.
I'm gonna check on the dog real quick. Be right back.
The dogs are going nuts downstairs.
Right? Ours do every time. Do we want to do the anise in the center of this one, or do we want to keep it simpler?
I want to try the anise.
Okay.
Making an executive decision while he's gone. He has to draw it.
All right. I actually had some. Where is it? It's really. Let me find it. Right here.
Are we still rounding our edges?
We haven't moved on from rounding our edges, so we
works
can
for
let
me.
you finish that. That's gonna stick. I almost got it. No. Right there. So if you look at the star anise spice, it has the same shape as like the pizza slices that we're already kind of doing. So instead of going over the same lines, I'm just going to be going on the separate, like in between. And I just do like flower shapes. I don't know if it has that many. It might have that many. Yeah, it does. So, and then some of the anise pods are open and some of them are closed. So the skinny ones that you just, randomly make skinnier, those ones can be closed. And then if there's a thicker one, you just leave a center open and those pods will be open. Is that blurry? There you go. The focuses. Oh yeah, and then the holly berries, which, 2 circles.
I can do that.
Yeah. All right.
How's it looking, Caitie?
That looks great. That looks totally great. So, and then just so you know too, as far as you rounded the edges, but you want to make sure that there's a line in between because you want that area to be more of a creamy color for like the little in between the juicy pulp stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, then give me a second here.
Just helps. You can always do it later with like a white highlighter pen or something like that too and make them really fine and kind of do them that way, but it does help to have somewhat of a space saved for it.
Oh. Say hi, Odin.
Okay. Are we ready to paint?
I think so.
Awesome. All right. Oh, wait, we forgot do you guys want to do the bow too? We forgot the bow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So this top of this one has a bow. I'm going to do a bow. See it blurry? I do it real simple. Do 2 sides and then a circle in the middle. And then kind of like a tail on one side and then a tail coming out the other side. And then just erase. The pencil underneath. And I kind of like, sometimes with watercolor too, like I'll try to like be more gentle on my paper and I'll trace it with the light box. But I feel like these ones too are just, like it's a more illustrated kind of, softer look. So it kind of works too. I'm not too worried about the pencil mark showing through. So, But yeah. It's a lot bigger. They look a little funny. Hopefully it shows it. Totally.
Kinda. Mine kind of looks more like a butterfly, but
And that'll work though. It'll especially when it's all red and it'll look like it's supposed to. You'll get the gist of it.
so we're replying to some comments on YouTube right now.
Oh, cool. Do they have any questions?
Any questions?
No, she's just wondering about like the whole concept of using these as ornaments.
Concept? Oh, like
actually drawing them. And,
oh yeah. No, they're gorgeous. We did it. I've done it 3 years in a row, and honestly, I mean, like, if you guys just did it at your house, it makes your house smell amazing. Yeah. And they're so pretty, and especially too was when they get all dried out, they get kind of shiny, and then when you put them on the tree, all the Christmas lights make light shine through the oranges, and they look like they're all glowy. They're really pretty. So
I also saw a thing I think maybe on Instagram lately that was someone basically peeled a bunch of citrus fruit and then had like cookie cutters of stars and other like Christmas trees, and they cut it into the peel and then dried that and strung, a fishing line or something through it.
Why did you have to tell me that? Now I'm gonna have to do that. Oh no! That sounds so cool.
They turned the scraps of it into like potpourri that they sprinkle.
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay, so to get started, we are going to be doing our first layer. So with watercolor, you want to start with your lightest colors and your lightest tones. And for this one, we're going to do a wash over all of the warm areas besides the reds with a really light wash of the brilliant yellow. So the reason you'd want to avoid the red of these two, of the holly, and then those, because if you have the yellow first and then the red over it, it's going to be orange. You don't want orange. You want those to be nice and vibrant and red. So we're going to do yellow all over this one and all over that one. So, and then let's see.
I did not grab yellow, so Cassie, my wonderful wife, is gonna go through that very quickly here. But you're just going straight from the dry color sheet.
Yep, right from it. I'm gonna maybe make it go like that. Does that show both?
Yeah, perfect.
I might actually add the mauve. I want it to be a little bit more. No, not the mauve. I might add just a touch of the Bismarck Brown too while it's still wet, because I want it to be more of a creamy color, like that, than yellow. So it's the brilliant yellow with a touch of Bismarck Brown and a lot of water, because you want it to be pretty subtle. So what I did too, I kind of made like a giant puddle here, but you mix it on the paper. So I touched it on from my pure sheet, and I put it on my extra piece of watercolor paper, and then I touched my brown and then put it up here, and I kind of mix it on the paper, and then make sure it's enough water. So I don't want a brown, but I want it like a creamy. Yeah, it's like a just barely muted yellow.
So I mean, in a few tutorials, you've kind of had a cool trick of like putting tape on your paper if you wanted more of a like water resistant.
Yeah,
palette.
packing tape. Which that is a good idea. I probably should do that. I don't know what any packing tape is right now, but yeah, you could put like a strip of packing tape right over this palette, and then it's like having a plastic palette travelable with you, and you don't have to have any of your palettes. But you can also mix it like on the page. You can see I put more brown, and then as it's still wet, it's still pretty easy to mix and have it be softer.
I'm never sharing a palette with you again. Just like mixing the color that I have.
And you know, too, like this one's kind of bright. If it's too bright when it's wet, you can kind of go down and drop like water on it, and use a paper towel to suck up some of the water too. So like if it's too bright, you can do that. Like look how much paint gets lifted up. Like that's still like quite a bit of paint. And since it's the first layer and you want it to dry faster, you can always do that too, but you don't need to.
I think we're good though.
But yeah, that is the first layer.
We're getting there.
No, you're good. You're really good.
Beautiful.
Is there a comment section on the YouTube?
Yeah.
That time? Yeah.
Kay's commenting. I'm too shy to dive right into using a strong wash.
What's that?
She said, I'm too shy to dive right into using a strong wash.
It can get very bright, especially the brilliant yellow. Did I not have brilliant yellow on the list? Let me see. I thought I did.
Probably.
Yeah. I think I did. Oh, yeah. I mean, there is so much paint in these like tiny sheets of like I literally probably only used like a quarter, not even a quarter, like the tiniest section of my square, and it is a ton of paint. So it's pretty cool. And then, lighter colored, the oranges too, they would look really pretty also. So, okay. So now we're letting those ones dry. So we want to make sure we can still keep working. But we're going to do the first layer of the cinnamon, which is only Bismarck Brown. And then we're going to do the holly, the first layer, and it just gets all the way the top of the leaf to the bottom of leaf of like a lighter wash of the Veridian Green. So pretty simple. And then let's see. You see the Bismarck Brown. You can even add. We can add that. I did it on the next layer, but we can kind of mix it at the same. So kind of how we mix the Bismarck Brown and the yellow. We're gonna mix the Bismarck Brown with just a little bit of the red golden hair, and then make it a softer one. And that's gonna be your first wash of the cinnamon. So you kind of want more of that, like a warmer brown. So you just want a touch of that red golden hair in there. And it's really funny that the red golden hair is in the hair pack, but it's honestly probably my favorite red from Peerless, because it can be like so soft and like golden color, but then if you like put a little bit more, then it's like this prettiest orange, and then just a little bit more and it's like the prettiest red. Like the range of the color on just that one sheet is it's my favorite. So it's a good one. Keep that one around.
And I mean, adding it to the Bismarck Brown, it looks like cinnamon.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. You
so
just
cool.
need to shift change it a little bit, and it definitely has that color that you're looking for. So next, just a single wash of the Veridian straight from there. Oh shoot. Don't do that. And you're gonna get all of your like depths and shadows for your holly on the next wash. So this one, you're purely just filling it up with color. And the Veridian Green can get pretty dark too, so you want to make sure it's not like the darkest you can get from there. But you know, fill it up with green.
And Veridian Green is kind of like, for me, it's a color that you can start really saturated and then kind of pull it out.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, like if you just put it straight down, so much color and pigment, and then by the time you get it moved all the way from the top to the bottom, it's a nice even.
Let's see. Heidi Phillips is asking if we're using hot or cold pressed paper, and on our end, we're using cold pressed.
Cold pressed as well.
Yeah, we're using these travel sketchbooks that Autumn Shoes Company, Sketchbook Co. makes for us.
Yeah.
And we stamp them with whatever color they come in.
Wait. Oh no!
Yes, it's upside down.
Oh wow.
But they are cold pressed. But thanks for asking some questions in the chat. It definitely helps liven up a little bit. Any questions, just throw them up there. We're kind of reading them on a separate screen.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you guys done those ones yet?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So the next layer we're going to do is perfect. So the top one with the star anise is going to be our blood orange, and then this is going to be our regular orange. So we're going to fill in all of the pulp areas of this guy with the red golden hair, and then this one we're going to fill in the same way with the red golden hair mixed with brilliant yellow, so it's going to be like a more of an orange. This one's going to be a brighter orange, or a darker, closer to red. So if you can see it on here, straight from there, and then and try to leave that little bit of light color. Like so.
This is the point of the tutorial where I forget to breathe
Yeah.
from concentrating.
Well, I think watercolor too is one of those art forms that looks really, really good and softer and kind of like the pretty mistakes. I think it looks more intentional with watercolor than it does with other paint for some reason, which I've always kind of liked.
Yeah, no, it's like to me it seems like watercolor is kind of like closer to like a organic art form compared to other mediums.
I would think so. That's a good way to describe it.
Where it's essentially just like art, it's like jazz but on paper. Like the wrong notes work.
Totally.
As long as you commit to them.
Yeah. Was it a Modern Family vocabulary, or was it confidence is half of vocabulary or something like that?
I love Modern Family. All right, so that one is the red golden hair. And then the same way we mixed it on the paper, we're going to do yellow and red golden hair together. And it's going to get that nice fiery orange, but a lot lighter than that guy. It should be lighter.
I'll let you mix this one.
Yeah, don't touch it after I do it.
Ooh, I got a hair in it. There we go.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
How is Jeff and Drew and everyone today?
They're good. They're at the park right now, so it might get a little crazy in about an hour. There might be a second nap and some children and running around. So if you hear anything weird, everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Jeff's got it under control.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, they're at Dino Park right now, so they're pretty excited.
In California, you have the luxury of being able to go outside right now. It's like pretty warm here. Yeah, it's warm here right now, but generally this is the time of year where like the wind hurts to breathe.
Like, run from your car to inside.
Oh yeah, no, I don't know how you. Yeah, that's hard. That's very hard. Do you have to shovel snow?
Oh yeah. Well, I have to shovel snow.
Yes. That's good. I don't think I've ever shoveled snow in my entire life.
It's a good workout. It's like a great way to like not have a back when you're 40 years old.
Just needs to be like written into their like state legislation that everyone needs like a chiropractor for living there after.
Yeah, no. Instead, we get alternate day parking during the winter, where you get a ticket if your car is on the wrong side of the road, depending on what day it is for plowing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be kind of tricky.
Especially, you have to go off the date that it'll be at 2 a.m. So, like, on odd days, you have to be on one side. I always get it wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. Just kind of
That's
accept
hard.
it.
Yeah.
That's really hard.
I also
Okay.
think Katie's got us beat with lighting because Caitie looks like tan and like normal, and we look like Tim Burton characters from like Corpse Bride on this side.
I mean, we go outside occasionally. Not as much as I usually I probably should. I know I'm like gonna move away from California, and I could be like I should have spent all of my time at the beach, and like we haven't been to the beach in like a month probably. It's silly, but okay. So next one, we are going to do our second layer on the cinnamon, and then we're going to be using the Bismarck Brown. And this one, you basically just kind of want to like outline with the darkest, and then whatever's left over on your paintbrush, you're gonna do like little tiny lines to kind of give it some details. So if you outline first and then kind of do like just one block at a time, and you get the darkest, you can even wash off a little bit, and then with the lighter, whatever's left on your brush, kind of give it these little lines. Does that make sense? Kind of might be kind of hard to see. Can you see that or not really?
No, I think we can see it.
Yeah, there's just the lighter lines. So once your darkest outline, and then whatever's left over on your brush, you do little tiny dots or like swooshes, little swooshy lines. And that kind of gives you the texture on the inside, but a lighter version. So outline first. And then little lines on the inside with whatever's left. At 40 minutes, we're doing good. Definitely gonna finish, probably. I like it.
Oh, like definitely, probably.
Yeah, definitely, probably. That's actually my dad. My dad used to say that. He's like, "Oh, definitely, maybe." That's not a yes or a no. He's like, "Yeah, definitely, maybe." I'm like, "Okay." But,
I feel like we go, yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
Really, no.
Or yeah, no.
Yeah,
Or no, yeah.
No, yeah.
That's funny. California is you good, which is like in any situation you'd be like, you good, like if you need money, or like, oh, you're good, you're full, or you're like, you good, like you're happy, like literally everything. It's just the way that you say it that's just like, what do you say? Yeah, there was like a joke about like people trying to learn English, and they're like, yeah, you can say you good and it means like 10 different things in like English, and I'm like that must be so confusing.
Because it can even just be like a statement, like "you good."
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
all of the things. All right. Cinnamon.
it's looking. The smell is jumping off the page at me right now.
Perfect. Oh yeah, that looks great.
Hers is a little more finesse than mine, but
Totally good. Okay, so for the holly, for the next part, we're going to try to make the edges darker, and then have like the middle vein of the leaf. And so to do that, an easier way to do it is kind of make a puddle of a lighter green first, and then just make your middle lines. And then what you basically want to do is fill in both sides of the leaf. So now that you have that middle line already created, just fill in both sides, outer edges of it. So, and then if you do darker on the edge, and then you just fill into that line, and then you get that nice line in the center.
So you make that center line, and then you kind of trace the outside of the leaf and pull that color
just
towards the center.
And it can get pretty dark because holly's pretty dark, so you can fill in, and then you know where to stop now to leave that center line lighter. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay, cool. And then I like to make the top of the holly darker just to kind of give it some, shape. I guess not shape. I don't even know. I just like to make the top darker, and then what'll be a lot darker on the second leaf is what's underneath the berry. What is there? Holly berries? Are they called something? Is there a name?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, something berries. So again, 2 lines down the center, and then fill it either side.
You said you like making the bottom, like the tip of the leaf, darker, or the top by the stem.
Just by the stem, it kind of, because there's a shadow up there underneath the berry anyway, but it doesn't have to be. It just all depends where your light source is and coming from and everything, but it could be either way. But what I like about them the most is having that little vein come up, and that kind of just, as long as that's lighter than the rest of the leaf and it makes it pop out, then I feel like you can kind of give it that shape.
For me, I think like my weakest part of painting is like you're saying, like imagining where the light's coming from. I'm so bad at shadows and that kind of a thing.
That comes with, it's not even painting. Like the painting is good. That's like more realism, and that just comes from doing lots of studies and looking at a million things of where the light source is. And I feel like too, like as long as I've like drawn and painted, it always kind of comes down to a really good light source too. So, and if you can kind of picture it in your head, it still doesn't always like, oh yeah, I feel like it should come from this way, and then you like put it all where it's supposed to, and I'm like, no, that doesn't look right, like not at all. But it is awesome and very helpful to have very good reference photos. So
do you watch The Office at all?
The Office, I used to watch it. I haven't watched it in years. I think I've only seen the first few though.
Did you see the episode where Pam, she's a watercolor artist, and she paints the building they work in? Dwight, who's like the very analytical, logical character, is just like, there's like, this is a terrible painting because there's 2 suns? Are we in the Andromeda galaxy?
That's pretty good. Like. There's 2 suns, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have light coming from everywhere.
Yeah, I mean it works too, as long as it, maybe it's a studio light and they have it well lit in both areas. You never know. Okay.
I think so.
Yep.
All right. So for this next guy, we are going to be doing the pulp and the dried pulp. So it is going to be with the Bismarck Brown. Are we doing red? Brilliant. Yeah. Bismarck Brown? Oh, wait, no, the Poinsettia Red. I think it's maybe both. So I think it's either Poinsettia Red and Bismarck Brown mixed together. But what we're going to do is kind of how we did this cinnamon, how it's outlined first, and then whatever's left over on the brush, you're making little lines. We're doing the same thing here. So outline it, the inside of the pulp, and then make little lines, but have them kind of connect together. And I'll zoom in the camera a little bit too, so you can see it. 1 second once I've done this.
And this is one. Okay.
This is the blood orange, and I mixed the Poinsettia Red and the Bismarck Brown. Come on, focus. And you see how they kind of like are all a little connected. You outline the whole thing, and then kind of make the little swoopy lines with whatever's left. And then, what else was I doing? Oh yeah, we should start doing that, I guess, too. And with that same color, you're going to kind of outline the entire ring, too. I'd probably do that after so you don't smudge. But that's also the same color. Just the Poinsettia Red mixed with the Bismarck Brown. We give it kind of more of that blood orangey color.
Have you ever eaten a blood orange?
Oh, yeah.
Do they taste different? I've never had one.
No? I think they're just pretty. They just look really cool. They look really nice in drinks.
Ooh.
I just think they make it look more festive. Do you guys have Trader Joe's there?
When I went to school in Minneapolis, we had a Trader Joe's that I would go to.
We have one in Madison.
Oh yeah, a few like
In the big city.
maybe 30 minutes from us.
Okay, yeah, that's not bad. That's where we usually shop for most of our stuff, and they usually have blood oranges for the holidays. So you can put them in cocktails and make them look super pretty.
I mean, my eventual vision for this live painting stuff is to kind of actually just turn it into a grocery podcast. So we're well on our way.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you guys like have good drinks and cocktails and yummy food, and so that just kind of makes sense, right?
I'm quickly finding out that I don't have the patience for the inside pulp lines, but it's still coming together. It's like I just love when the paints, as they dry, they kind of turn into something completely different.
Right?
Where it looks way better than when it began.
I love it.
See, Courtney Shannon is saying that blood orange definitely tastes different, but she does not like the taste as much as she likes the looks.
Oh, okay. I can't remember if it tastes different. I remember why. Maybe I just used them in drinks. Which maybe that might be it.
The other night, Cassie was totally like showing me your stories with the cocktails you made, going, "Why can't you be Caitie? Why can't we have Katie's life?"
So good.
It's so fun. I know they're not even that hard though. It's just I don't know. They're just I enjoy a quality craft cocktail over quantity of alcohol these days. So that's what I like.
What is your go-to cocktail?
My go-to my favorite one, or like go-to
I guess my question is, what is if you had to pick one type of like liquor or like base drink, what are you drinking?
Gin all the way. Gin's my favorite.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. My favorite. Say, what was that?
Said I also like gin. I can't stand tequila. I'm sorry for anyone.
Oh, I love tequila too, though.
I just can't do it.
I might have made this. How did I make this too light? Kind of feel like my orange. That's okay. And I'm going to bring some of this down into the yellow, because I feel like my yellow is a little bit too bright. I don't think I like how neon that one is. I kind of want it a little bit softer. My go-to drink right now, though, that I don't have to make is the hard kombuchas. Do you guys have those over there?
So we've got some friends that actually make those that I used to be in a band with. And I think hard kombucha is like it's going to be the next fad, I think, in terms of drinks.
It's really good, because most beers hurt my stomach. So it does not, and they are very tasty. There's my dogs.
I just love kombucha in general. Like, I used to make it with my brother, not like an alcoholic version, but just the...
We did too. And then, so I'm doing the same thing with the regular orange, but instead of the red golden hair and the poinsettia red, we are just doing the red golden hair. Or poinsettia, I think I said that right. So, the lighter version.
Is True going to be joining us at all?
Probably not. He got a paint last night, so I think he might be. He'll probably want to. He's very much the painter with me in the family. Although Jeff does pretty good too, though. We've done a few paint nights for
So
his choice of stuff.
you've never met her, but one of my best friends, Jackie, she basically manages all of the like, at least right now, like the paint, not the manufacturing, but like getting all the product out to people.
Okay.
And she's been doing paint nights with her husband Peter, and he is like, I'm totally jealous of how he just has a natural inclination to painting that I don't have. And it's like, he's been friends with Peter and Jackie for like 10 years now. I was like, what other secret skills are you harboring that I don't know about?
I love it. I mean, everything takes practice too, though. But yeah, some people are much quicker to learn things like that, I suppose. But I think you do great, Dalton.
Oh, thank you.
All right, and then the same thing with that. We're going to do the outer ring, and then kind of blend it down a little bit into the rind, just to kind of give it a little bit more softness.
On YouTube, Donna Kaufman is saying, thank you for doing this. She's having so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
Donna has been a supporter of this for the longest time, and I want to say thank you, Donna, for helping us keep this going.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Alright, so shadows. We got shadows and then that guy. So basically at this point, this is kind of how I probably would do more of like a non-dried orange. Like these are like very bright and like, a fresh orange slice basically. Mm-hmm. So now we have to add depth and shadow and a little bit of the darker colors to make them look more like they've been in the oven for 4 hours. So if you were wondering how to do a regular orange, this is how you would do it. But now we gotta like mess it up to make it darker.
We're gonna kind of get into the territory of your grimoire tutorial.
Yes, definitely. Adding some darker and some yes. So with oranges and warm tones, if you want to make them darker without putting a black, which would kind of make, if you were to put black over this yellow, you would get kind of a muddy, kind of gross color. But if you want a darker color of the orange or the red, I like to add purple. So we're using the mauve as our complementary tone to orange to make a deeper color, but still of a muted tone. So it's not black and muddy gross, but like.
So are there other colors that you would default to using just black with to do the same thing, or?
I like black if I'm doing more blues or purples, and I'm kind of trying to make it just a little bit darker, maybe. But yeah, usually with oranges and reds and stuff like that, like if it I don't know, I just feel like the tone isn't right. Like it gets darker for sure. Like I have black on here, and I don't know if I put it on the list. I did put it on the list on there, but I did use a little bit of black around the holly maybe. But you can get that kind of the dark that your eye sees just with using a purple and a green too, which those are also, closer on the color wheel. Where's the color wheel? That would be a good idea to have one up.
I think besides like whenever I watch your tutorials and you do go over the shadows and stuff, I think where I learn the most is like your wealth of knowledge. Either if it comes from your hair dyeing.
There's a lot of that from there, yes.
So like how you color mix to get something where it's like I would never have thought to put a purple in a yellow or an orange to.
It's my favorite part. I feel like especially like the last few years, there's so many watercolorists and just like probably my favorite style of artists that like most of my watercolors that are like my like festival posters are ridiculously bright, and I don't mute any of those colors, and they're just like in your face, like peerless paint. And the ones that I love in other people's watercolor paint are usually the more muted and softer tones. And it's kind of been fun to do that. And when I did the the mixing table, like there were so many colors that I was like, I mixed those two, which is like, you know, like a pink with the sky blue or like the sepia brown, and they get some of my favorite tones, and I'm like, I didn't even know that color was there. Like, this is perfect. I know exactly what I would use that for. So,
and it's super cool because I think like a lot of people that come to our watercolors for the first time, you know, if you use it directly from the sheet, they're kind of like cartoonish, like
they're really bright, yeah,
really saturated. But between knowing what colors to mix them with to kind of control the temperature, I think they also have it's like as you dilute them, like you're saying with the red golden hair, it's like it has different stages of how that color kind of evolves for you.
Oh yeah, like, totally.
I didn't even know that until we started talking, and like I started painting your tutorials. So
right, I know. So the most red, if you're diluting it and you're putting it on a white paper, you're gonna get pink. And so like for the red golden hair to go from yellow to orange to red, like, and have it be like a beautiful color at every stage, it's really cool. So like before, you would have to like have like there's like more orange reds and more purpley reds and stuff like that too. But when you dilute it to such a level, it's going to be more of a pinky color or more of an orange. So it surprises me when it's like super bright yellow. It's like, oh, it's like the best color. It's so good. It's the best one. Okay, so we can continue talking, but let's do it while we paint.
Let's do it.
So now we're gonna do. Why don't we're gonna fill in this entire the star with the Bismarck Brown, but except leave out those little inside petals, like the inside pods. If you had any of them that were larger, that are going to be an open pod, just make sure you leave those out. So we're just going to put a little bit of the other one. So we're going to fill up that one, and then we're going to do the darker tones on this one while this is drying. So Bismarck Brown. But yeah, no, I don't know. For as long as I feel like I have worked with Peerless for so long, but I think I only bought the complete edition for so long, and that was like the only one. I just kept rebuying the same packet, and I never bought any of the other colors, so I kind of got really good at mixing all of those ones. But then when I started working with you guys, I was like, oh, I have all of them, all of the colors available to me. And I just kind of, I love all of them. There's so many good ones.
And it's like, for people watching that don't know, we're the 5th owners of Peerless, and we bought it from Cassie's aunt, Chris, who has been running it for like 16 years or something like that. And she still makes a lot of the paint, and we kind of assemble it, but I've started taking over the paint making, just so she can have a break. And it's been a huge lesson in color mixing, just mixing the pigments to like see like, oh, this is, if you make this small tweak, it goes from being this green to this other type of green, and it evolves differently. It's just super cool.
That'd be so cool to see that. I would actually like to see how they're made. Okay, and then so the same thing we did with the light orange, and the outlining and everything. We're gonna do the outside rind with the Bismarck Brown, and then the same kind of outlining of the pulp inside, and then just a little bit of lines. But don't worry, Dalton, you don't have to do as many lines as before. So just the same way, just the Bismarck Brown, and this is what's gonna give it that more dried version of the orange versus the fresh cut orange.
I'm gonna go try to get some light on us because the sun is already setting here.
Oh yeah.
We're getting more and more anemic as the time goes on here. Is that too bright, or is that okay?
Okay.
It's a little better. So we're antiquing our oranges right now.
We're antiquing them, yes. We're making them vintage oranges. I like it. Mm-hmm.
Courtney is saying that she has a bunch of tinted graphite pencils that she likes to use with our watercolors, and it makes our comparison to the duller tones of those pencils.
That's cool.
I would love to see that. If you want to send it, to like the customer service email or Instagram.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be really cool.
My mom is a wonderful artist, and she did a lot of her work in like charcoal and graphite.
Ooh, so that's something I've never done. Like maybe in like high school, but not since.
I do not share her talent, but it's fun to look at.
I don't think you give yourself enough credit. All right. So, am I going too fast? How's everybody?
I need a little bit more time.
Okay.
Here.
Okay.
I'm like 2/3 through my first orange.
Perfect.
I feel like perfect was not going to be the next word out of your mouth. Judging by that malicious giggle.
Wow.
She said some of the squiggles.
Just a few. Yeah, it's kind of hard. Yeah, I think you can see it closer. You can see how many, and then on this one, just a few, and it kind of just makes it look like it's shriveled.
So like, even though we're like a month out of Halloween, you're still trying to get that type of gothic feel into the.
I was really into the Halloween tutorials. I got a little
They were so good. Like I said, that grimoire tutorial is absolutely amazing.
I love that one. Yeah, I've always wanted to do that too. And I'm like, it'd be really cool to do. I mean, that was literally the first thing I thought when I saw your guys' sketchbooks too, and like how pretty, just like the bound leather, and like they had like the perfect watercolor paper on the inside. I'm like, someone should just make this into an entire spell book of everything and be like, it's so perfect. It's perfect.
That was when I saw the tutorial, it was kind of like that joke with like Phil Collins and the Tarzan soundtrack, where I was like, Caitie didn't need to go that hard for us, but she did.
I loved it. I've actually seen Phil Collins too, by the way.
Really?
I have. Awesome. Yeah, I was the youngest person there.
I was the youngest person at a Black Crowes concert a few years ago here in Madison.
But it was great, right?
It was great, minus the fact that it was basically just a fart factory. Like, I was like just a bunch of old men that can't control their gas or something, or don't care.
Oh no!
So I've
that
never been
hilarious.
I've never been to any other concert that has its own like scent scene, but it was not great.
That's so funny. I mean, it's been a while since I've been to a mosh pit kind of concert, so those get pretty stinky too.
Right, up close and personal for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think I've been to a concert since this whole like global pandemic thing.
No, me neither.
And it's like I'm a musician first and foremost, and that's what my schooling was in. And it's like I would go to 30 concerts a year up until this point, and then
that's crazy.
Died off, which sucks. So hopefully we can get back into that soon.
Yeah, right. Okay, so I want to show you real quick. So when we've been working on the palette, this is kind of the Bismarck Brown. This is the red golden hair. This is that's a Poinsettia Red. That's the red golden hair, and I've mixed them a little bit. But then I have my mauve purple. And so if I'm just doing a wash, I want to show you what it looks like over each of these. So you get an idea. You don't want to make it that dark like that. And then for the lighter one, you want it just a little lighter. And see how it kind of just dulls it, but doesn't make it like black or muddy. So we're kind of working with that. And so we want in between these ones for the darker color of our blood orange. So we're going to do, you could either do just the mauve purple on it by itself, but if you kind of go out of the line, you're going to show some purple. So, or you can do mauve mixed with some of the red on your palette. So either way, whatever way you feel more comfortable doing it, you can kind of mix it right here. We're going to be about that. So that's about the color that you want, which is so pretty. Or you could just go straight from the purple to there too if you want it even darker. But you just have to make sure not to get it on the outside of the white because then it'll be purple. So yeah, makes sense?
Yeah, I'm going to watch you do it.
Okay.
Before I start.
Same thing. Outline a few swooshy lines. And then the outer ring. And I feel like if you were used like more of the Bismarck Brown over there, it just wouldn't be dark enough and it would just look too similar to the red golden hair. So even though that it's purple, but you're mixing it with purple and red and it kind of gives it that like a dark brown tone. I feel like if you were just to put brown, it just wouldn't be dark enough. So that's kind of why I did the complementary tone instead.
I also think like you kind of don't realize it when you see, aged fruits and stuff like this, but it definitely has that purple hue.
A little bit, yeah. I would think so. Just a little bit. Oops, that was brown. I don't want brown.
Are you judging my painting right now? This is a no judgment zone. Sounds like poor water management.
Yeah. You got a little crazy there.
For anyone that needs a little uplift on their own painting, this is where I am so far.
It looks great.
I'm getting a little wet and smudgy. But...
Oh no, that looks good. Totally good.
Are you kidding, Caitie? Her holly isn't even connected to her cinnamon.
It doesn't need to be connected. There's like you can have a little bit of gold thread that's gonna connect it all.
Oh, that invisible string.
The invisible string. That's right. There's no string on any of them yet, so you're good. All right, and then make the edge really dark again.
And again, if anyone has any questions for us or Caitie, just throw them up in the comments. We're kind of watching that as we go here. Doesn't even need to be paint related. It could be office related. Elevator shoe related in terms of Caitie's fashion. Is that a thing? Like Doc Martens? Is that a... I don't know the correct term for it.
Those are like, high heels and Doc Martens. And then too, you could add little dots that kind of give it that speckled, like it's been shriveled. I like shriveled.
Like the pores of the rind.
Yeah.
Was that with that same color combo, or is that just the purple?
Same color combo. And you can also kind of outline the star a little bit more too to kind of get some of those shadows. So those kind of need to pop out a little bit more. So I am kind of adding the shadows underneath as I'm going with that one too. If you can see that kind of makes it stand up a little bit better. And then the same kind of thing, the same mix, you want to outline the bottom of, oh my goodness, why can't I think of the name? The bow. and then give it that shadow. And your
I
little
feel like
speck.
those little specks are one of those things in the painting that like I did not expect them to be noticeable, but it kind of brought the entire orange. Like it made it look so much better.
Yeah, right. It's like it is. It's always those like last little details, like the finishing touches too. I feel like with the we have the white highlighter, like the gel pens too. Those kind of like give it the shiny look. Like all the little details, I feel like bring it together. Okay. And then that same color combo, instead of outlining all of the stuff, I do it's the Poinsettia Red. I feel like I say that wrong every time I say it. And the purple. And I just go on the outer edge. And that kind of just makes that. There's one more. You see where I'm just on those little bits and just adds that extra little shadow. But you still want that one to be lighter because that's the non-blood orange.
Mm-hmm. And approximately how many oranges did you have to look over to get this color combo down, or this tutorial? Quite a few.
Cocktails.
5 cocktails. I don't know if I actually had any cocktails that night. I don't know. I feel like I just love. I mean, I do. The oranges are probably one of my favorite anyway. So, well, probably just a couple. I actually looked up actual ornaments though too. So I had those as my reference photos. But, okay, so as those ones are drying a little bit, so we have a little bit more to do in the star.
Yeah.
But we got to get that dry all the way around it, but otherwise the colors will smush together. This is looking a little flat in comparison to these oranges now, so we're gonna do the same thing that we did with the outlining. We're just gonna do it one more time just to give it another layer of depth, and then after that we're gonna fill in the red of the berries. So
are we using just Bismarck Brown for the cinnamon then?
Just Bismarck Brown, yep. Just to make sure it's nice and rich and dark. Because, you know, as watercolor does, sometimes it dries and then it's lighter and you got to add another layer before it's the right depth. I mean, it's still kind of more of a reddish too, so if you want to add a little bit of the purple to it just to make it a little bit darker, you can also do that too. I think I might add some of that. I might add more red actually. Yeah, throw a little of the purple in there and it'll kind of give it a darker brown.
It's just cool that like that purple. It's like not even just making it darker, but it just kind of like it feels different, almost like looking at it.
Yeah, I'd love that. The complimentary ones are always my favorite for those mixing. All right, so then when we're doing round berries, it's kind of picking your light source. And so when we're placing the paint first, you want to avoid that little circle where you're going to do it. So I just do a circle, kind of how we did the line on these guys. You just draw a line in the center wherever you want that thing first, and then you fill in the rest of the berries. So you make sure you leave that area light. So kind of a little helpful.
The center part is theoretically where like the light is hitting the berry directly.
Yeah, I kind of do it like center top, or like it doesn't really matter. It could be the center right, center left, center whatever, just to kind of give it any kind of like higher area And then while it's still...
And that was Poinsettia Red?
Yes.
And now you also have me questioning how to pronounce the word poinsettia.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of words that I used to know how to say, and then for some reason my brain like tricks me into thinking that I don't know how to say them anymore. And then I'm like, I don't think I'm saying that right.
It's like I had, like, from, reading growing up, I have so many words that I've never heard in conversation. Also, it's Cassie, too.
Constituted.
Constituents. It's what it's really bad for epitome. But I guess epitome is how, like, the UK people say it, like the European people say epitome. But
I don't even know.
I thought it was epitome. But
Epitome?
Yeah.
Well, now we're just messing up each other now.
Yeah, no, I was like, is that even a word? That you say too many times?
I like it. All right. So when your berries are still a little bit wet and you have your light source on the top or wherever, you want to add the shadow underneath. And if you do it when it's wet, it's going to be like a nicer blend. And then so if you put it down underneath and then let the water kind of blend it up into it, it'll kind of give it that thing. It's kind of hard to see. Let me try to move it closer. And see how it kind of gets from lighter to the darker red, and it kind of gives it that.
Diana's asking if this is going to be posted later, and it will be.
Yes.
Or at least we think we're using a new software to stream to YouTube. So in a perfect world, yes, this will be on our YouTube later after this, but please forgive me if it gets deleted in trying to figure out how to save it. But we will work it out, and all future ones will be on YouTube to watch forever.
Mm-hmm. Our awkwardness on full display.
When the alien civilization comes and this is all these first, they're like, oh my god, these people are really gross.
So while we're still waiting for that to make sure it's completely dry, we are going to fill in the red bow with the poinsettia. That one. Just fill in the whole thing with red.
Make it red. Make it red.
The whole thing. The whole thing.
Yeah, it was.
What are you laughing at?
No, Cassie just tried to make a joke, and she said it was funnier in her head. And I said, yes, it was. I was just agreeing with my wife, okay, Caitie?
I like it. Well, you might be laughing at me, or did I do something?
No, you're doing great.
I was trying to whisper something to him.
Got it. I got it. Okay. That's great. I mean, this is also the really cool thing about watercolors. So if you saw what I just did, I probably should have explained it. So this little line, actually right here, how it's like ridiculously bright in comparison to all the other ones. I have a clean brush, completely washed off, and it's pretty dry. And I'm just gonna go choop, 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 like that. And then it just kind of softens and doesn't like hydrate the whole entire area, but it just kind of smushes some of the color around, but not enough to like move the lines. And that's, one of the like really cool things about watercolor when you just want to shift something. If you it's an almost dry brush, and then you kind of just go squishy. It's not like there's a lag on my video. So kind of just blends it without ruining your line. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right, so I just made that wet on there, so I can't work on that now. We're gonna go back to the holly, and then we're gonna do the darkest area on the green, and we are going to use, what did I use? I mixed the mauve, the purple, with the green. Let me see.
Mauve and Veridian.
Yep, mauve and meridian, and it gives it this really, can you see that? Really, really pretty, like forest green.
Oh yeah.
So pretty. And I'm going to do it, the shadow. So see how this leaf is overlapping? So if you have overlapping leaves, I'm going to put it on the lower one and then not touch the other one. And then that's going to make that shadow and the difference between the two pop out. And then I take all the extra off my brush, and then I'll show you that. If I took all the extra off my brush and then just with water, feather it down. So from this point down, there's no more extra paint being added, but it's blending that color that we just mixed all the way down. So it's kind of like a seamless, more smooth. And then the same thing on the side under the berry. Such a pretty color.
Hey, Gollum.
What?
Okay, Gollum.
Yes. I get excited about colors. Yes, that's me.
Technically, be Schmeagol? Or never mind. We're not gonna get into Tolkien folklore.
I went to a not a Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings wedding this summer.
That looked awesome.
It was like a really exciting. I was really, really excited to go.
Didn't you also make like the headbands?
Yeah, which I did not know they're called circlets. Very fancy.
I've heard that one before, but I didn't know the context to use it.
Yeah, they're like fairy crowns, and yeah, they were super fun. They're actually cool. They made them out of I made them out of aluminum, so they're super light, and then you could hammer them really easily. They were, yes, one of my extra hobbies. There's a lot of them. All of the fun things. Okay, and then so how we just did this side, and it's darker underneath, and I'm doing a little bit of shadows on this one. So I want to stop adding any more paint and then just kind of blend it down, and that's going to keep that point lighter. So when I lift it up, it's kind of hard to see. Let me focus. So when you can see it up close, this part's darker, and then you make sure to leave that point lighter so you get the depth, so that you know that that shadow is underneath and it's making that one on top pop out, which gives it more of that dimensional look.
Whoa, Caitie, settle down. We're gonna break the internet.
It's like, I need more coffee, and I probably don't need more coffee. Okay. All right. What's next? We're almost done, which is pretty crazy. I thought it would definitely be closer to 2 hours, so we're moving just right along. So the next one, we have to add a little bit of depth to our the star anise. So I'm going to use the red golden hair, and I'm going to kind of fill in another layer, and then it should kind of make that the pods that are open kind of pop out a little bit more. And you want to do it right over it though. So you want it to be, see how it kind of pops that a little bit, but it still gives those inside more of the warmer tone. Yeah. So basically just fill in another layer.
Mine kind of disappeared, so I'm just enjoying watching you paint yours right now.
Okay, that's okay. You can make them. You'll be able to make them pop out again with the white highlights. So mine on the first one kind of disappeared too, and it's much darker, and it pops out because of the white highlights. So once you add that, and then we're gonna add the shadows of the red bow. So kind of like I said before, that's why I added black to the palette. I don't know if did I have the black on the palette on the online too?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So now we're gonna do the outline. It's not really an outline because you kind of want it to look a little bit more realistic, but there's a fold in the bow, and so we're just gonna kind of pretend we know where it is, and then kind of make this like teardrop shape on this side, and then a fold or a crease in this side, and then I kind of outline the middle bow, and then this bottom half gets whatever's left as the highlight, or not the highlight, but like the shadow, and then a fold in the bottom. So when it kind of tricks your brain a little bit into thinking that there's depth to it. But yeah, so like a teardrop on the right, a little swoosh on the left, and then circle that middle dot. And then if you add the shadow under this top part of the bow, it makes that top part pop out. And then this bottom part of the bow kind of has a like a fold or a crease. Like that.
Perfect. Mine doesn't look quite like that, but yours looks beautiful.
Okay, and then now we're with the black, and now that we have the blue and the purple underneath there too, we're just gonna do a tiniest little bit of black outlining. I did outline both of the berries, but that was the first one, and then both berries aren't under. So this one I had black under both berries since they were kind of closer to the leaves. This one I've kind of made it a little bit like more spaced, so it's just going to be under that one. Do a little bit. And it gives it that super dark. Okay, so how are you guys doing?
Good.
Good. Yeah, totally. I love it. So now we are going to do highlights and the gold string, if you're ready.
A little bit of string.
Yeah, a little bit of string. Got to connect all the pieces,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Sarah Bradley says she is loving the bow.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing about like watching these tutorials is in my head where you said this is a teardrop on the right side.
Mm-hmm.
In my head, if I were to just try this on my own, I would have just made a black mark there. But you saying no, it's a teardrop shape. Like on my own.
Well, good. That's it. Yeah, I'm a visual learner too, so yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, wait, it has to swoop. So, although I feel like I say swoop, and that I mean like 5 different things. So sorry.
Yeah, we've had swoop, swoosh.
They little
mean
lines
and different things. Just like you good or dude.
You good. Okay, so now we're gonna do the gold, which the gold in Peerless is insane and gorgeous and like the prettiest thing ever. So you can't even tell. It's so shiny. You can draw pencil lines if you want to do them first. I kind of already know where they're gonna go on this one, but they're gonna go up and down, and then they're gonna connect the orange to the cinnamon and then to the holly. So if you want to draw it out first in pencil, you can do that too, or you could just kind of go for it.
Yeah, we kind of just go for it in the Spelman household.
Yep. Oops.
I love using these metallics because like they seeing it like shimmer as it runs in the water.
Oh,
Like,
right.
before it dries.
They're so good. They're so good.
You said you were working on a commission, Caitie?
I am.
How's that going?
This one's fun. It's I'm working on a bunch of commissions actually, but this one I'm doing is for a nursery, and she's getting it printed on 2 panels of curtains. So it's like a fairy forest land, and like gnome, like little mushrooms and elves and little fairy doors in the tree. Like it's so cute. And then, but yeah, she's printed on 2 curtains for a nursery. So it's really cute. Her baby's due in a few weeks too. So it's coming up. Yeah. Yeah. How much longer do you have?
A month.
A month. Yeah. See, a few weeks.
Yeah, exactly a month.
Yeah. It happens fast, doesn't it? Well, fast and then not fast enough. Yes.
Yeah.
It's like
Especially the last month.
I want this new baby here right now, but I also need more time.
Yeah. You're like, oh, I can't believe it's almost here. But I'm like, yeah, but really, like, get out. Like, you're evicted. Just done. Just get. Okay, so highlighters. You can use a white ink, like a liquid with a paintbrush, or super travelable. Is that a word? Travelable?
Portable?
Portable.
Or travelable.
Travelable. But highlight as much or as little as you like. More realistic highlights are usually softer, shorter little skippies. Or you could like full on like outline too. So, and then I also like to use it for cleaning up stuff. So if you see, it might be too blurry. There's like a little, out of the line area here, but I can kind of just go swoop, and then it makes it a lot cleaner. And then this little edge that has the shadow underneath, if I do a few little, kind of more skippies, and it kind of just pops up that edge of the ribbon to kind of make it kind of, show the highlight and, what's the word I'm looking for, Dalton?
Definition?
Definition. Yeah, that works. Totally. I used to highlight a lot more, and I've started to do more of these, like, more skip lines, and I feel like they look just slightly more natural. Like realistic.
Mrs. Mary Kay McGraw just joined the chat, and she wants to say you're doing a fantastic job.
Thanks,
Hello.
Mom. That's my mom.
Yeah,
then,
for anyone who's confused why I have to tell Caitie what comments are coming through, is she can't see them right now because of the software.
And then especially your adults, your star got disappeared a little bit, the white highlighter gel will make it pop up again too. So kind of give it all of those edges again.
That is like one of your kind of like trademark tricks. It's like the same thing with like the how you mix colors, where it's something that I wouldn't necessarily ever think to add, but you notice when it's gone. Like it looks so much better with it there, like kind of a thing.
Just a little bit of a dimension too, especially when it's darker like this, which you guys have made your own oranges now. One of the things I like about them is how they shine, especially if you like go hold them up to the light. To have any kind of dried fruit kind of gets that shimmer because all the sugars are being broken down and makes like a crisp, a sugar crisp. But the same thing with the dried fruit. So all those little like light reflections and stuff, I feel like those little skips in with the white kind of just bring those out a little bit too.
But Caitie, are you taking commissions from people, or can people like contact you if they want a commission done?
Oh yeah. I'm always doing some sort of commissions.
You have like, what's your preferred way if someone wants to?
Instagram or Facebook. Instagram probably. I am horrible at email. Actually no, this is gonna be funny. Wait, no, this is my phone that I'm using. I think the last time I looked, there's 60,000 unread emails.
Oh my God.
Don't email me, like, ever. I have like the worst for like unsubscribing to stuff after like I've ordered something, and most websites kind of email you quite a bit. So like I feel like over the last 10 years, there's probably a lot of things that I've ordered that I've just never unsubscribed to online. And so yeah, no, email is like terrifying. But anyway, yes, Instagram would probably be the number one, Facebook being second. So. Mm-hmm.
And you have your own website too, right? That people can see
Yes.
your portfolio.
I do have my own website, but I am I'm hoping soon. My youngest will be in daycare, preschool, in some sort of thing. The next place we go, so I will have a entire work day again, and not just a work day while he's napping. So I'll be on my website and all of the things a little bit more. But yes, Instagram is definitely. I don't even think there's any new art on the website in a while, so. But it is there.
Yeah, you definitely keep your Instagram up to date. So if anyone wants to see the other commissions, I especially like the chef one you did with all the herbs.
Oh yeah, that one was really cool. Yeah, that one was fun. That's actually, it was a mom, and she has two very different sons, and they're a few years apart, but she did portraits, and they were actually the biggest watercolor pieces I have done so far. And I think they were like maybe 3 feet by 2 feet. Like, they were big for watercolor. And I just loved how different both their portraits were. And so I worked with her in doing the what do you call it? Like, our first like initial meeting, trying to figure out their personalities. And one's a chef and the other one is a musician. So it just, trying to figure out their different kind of portraits that were, explain them. It was very cool. So that was, good ones. I think that's pretty much it. I did want to show one thing with these watercolor pens, and I kind of did it while we were talking, which I forgot to mention, is that little circle. If you guys didn't do that circle before, you can do it with the white highlight. But another really cool thing you could do is you do the white highlight, and then with a clean brush, you can kind of smush that white down, and it kind of makes like a an opaque red. So you want to make sure you know where you're putting those, because if you do that over any kind of other other part of the painting, then you want to shift the color. Something happens with the white ink, and it doesn't let the paint kind of flow as much as it usually does after. So it should be like done as a finishing. But it is kind of cool to get like an opaque color of whatever you're working on, so you can kind of mix that white highlighter with Peerless too, which is also like the gypsum white. So if you want to have like an opaque color of any of them too, and have it be like, what is the gouache? I actually haven't worked with gouache very much, like almost ever, like maybe like once or twice, but like years ago. But I feel like it's kind of the same thing, that you can kind of get that top layer of a color, which the gypsum white and the white highlighter pen are very cool. So fun tip. But, yeah.
So are we pretty much at the end of it?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's everything that I had on mine. They look a little bit different, my placement. Yeah. Oh no, they look great. Totally. But, yeah. Is there any question or wait,
yeah? I was gonna say we're gonna do much more of these. I want to shoot for at least once a month, but that depends on our schedule and Caitie's schedule. I mean, because we both are active parents and business owners, and so that can move around. But sign up or subscribe to our newsletter, because that's one of the first places we announce when we're going to do things like this. Oh, well, the question was,
you answered it.
Yeah, how often is it going to happen? So yeah, as we move forward with this, I want to be able to have the tutorial figured out at the beginning of the month so that we can sell like the paints to people for the tutorial, and there's enough time for the postal service to get it to wherever it needs to go, which is the big variable in that whole situation. But it's like I'm happy if you don't need to use our paints to do these tutorials and like to be live with us. It's just fun to interact with you guys and use whatever paints you have available. But I think this is super cool.
Definitely.
It kind of worked for our first time, which I'm pretty proud of all of us.
And under 2 hours, which I'm very nicely done, guys.
So if you have any suggestions for tutorials in the future, feel free to take us on Instagram or reach out to us there on Facebook, and we'll consider them. Caitie is the one coming up with these, so it comes down to what she wants to teach us and what we're willing to learn. But thank you everyone for tuning in. And Caitie, do you have any last words?
That was really fun. Thank you so much. And yeah, I would love to do it again. So yes, that's all.
All right, everyone, enjoy the rest of your Sunday and have a great week and a great holiday season coming up.
Bye.
Bye.